Hey, you guys, it's Emily from Rebuilding a Kick-Ass Life. And, I really think that God sometimes has like divine intervention. So I was not going to do a video today because I was not really feeling it. And I was just sort of, sometimes the hardest part about doing a video is what do I want to talk about today? What resonates with me? What is going to be inspirational to someone? And then one of you sent me a message from a short that I did this morning. So it was actually a short that I had made for Instagram, and which is that my son had posted a video about an upcoming trip that he's doing to Botswana next year. And for those of you that don't know, he works with a lot of conservation organizations all over the world. So he travels quite a bit. And I am lucky enough to go on some of those adventures, and they're really cool. And I also have another son who is a commercial pilot. And so I am fortunate enough that I get some perks that I can fly for free. And also I get some perks from Blake working with these conservation organizations. I don't get free trips, but I do get some nice perks. And so I reposted his story about Botswana, or his video, and my caption said something like, okay, this is getting ridiculous because I literally want to go on every single trip that he goes to. So coming up next is Borneo. So that is going to be going from Toronto to Vancouver to Singapore to Kuala Lumpur to Sandakan, which I believe is Borneo. And that's a 5-hour plane ride. And then also after that is Galapagos. Did Madagascar last year, missed Baja, although I really regret that. And now the next one coming up is Botswana in Africa, which looks so cool. So I posted that saying this is getting ridiculous because I really want to do this trip as well. And then I had a few people say to me or comment in my DMs like, how are you affording all these trips? So I explained how I am affording all these trips, which has a lot to do with my son being a pilot and getting some free flights, and then doing a lot of the trips that are related to Blake, who works with conservation organizations. And then I also said, which is great, and I'm very lucky and I feel very fortunate. However, the biggest reason why I am affording these trips is because I've really sort of come into my own and no longer feel the pressure to buy things that I don't need. And so my money predominantly goes on experiences, traveling, learning, growing. I'm not spending money on the latest and the greatest. I'm not spending money on things that I really don't need. Do I go shopping sometimes and see stuff that I want? Yes. But then I ask myself, is this a want or is this a need? Because if it's just a want, then I'm not doing it, because that want could potentially take away from something else that I need, or something that I really want to do that adds value to my life. And things don't add value to my life anymore. I used to have a closet full of designer clothes and designer handbags and tons of shoes. And I don't really feel the need to do that anymore. I don't want to collect things. Everything's going to go away eventually anyway. We don't need half of the stuff that we have. I'm a stager. That's what I do for a living. That and among other things. But predominantly I'm a stager. And what a stager does is they work with realtors to help property owners get their property ready for the market. And so do you know what the number one thing I tell people to do is? Declutter. You have way too much stuff. There is stuff everywhere. There is stuff that just would completely bogs you down. There are closets jam-packed with boots and coats. How many coats does one need? How many boots does one need? And so a lot of my job is removing, sorry, I'm making coffee if that's annoying. You know me and my coffee. Is removing things that you don't need to make space. And a lot of potential buyers, when they're going into a property that the closets are all jam-packed, the storage unit is overflowing, that their garage is overflowing, it gives the impression or the illusion that that house just has no storage space, that it's not enough room. When essentially, there is just so much stuff. And if we can learn to detach from the things that we don't need, then you are already on your way to saving some money, sell stuff to get money, to really do things that are important, or to do things that are fulfilling, to do things that, I don't know, with a purpose. And so that, my life has changed drastically in that regard, because as you know, I used to be very financially fortunate that I didn't have to worry about money, and now I'm completely on my own. And so I have to stand on my own 2 feet. I have to figure it out, and I cannot do trips all around the world multiple times a year sometimes, and still keep buying the handbags and the shoes and just the things that bog us down. So that truly is how, sorry guys, I'm moving around. I'm not a professional here. That truly is how I have been able to travel as much as I do. I don't shop anymore either. I used to shop. I used to be almost addicted to shopping. I used to shop all the time. I used to, have a closet full of items that still had tags on it. And then I found that I would actually have an occasion where I needed that strapless bra, or I needed that one unique thing, and I'd go out and buy it. Why? Because there's so much stuff in my closets and in my drawers that I already had those items, but I can't find them. I can't see them because there's just so much stuff. And so if we can learn to just detach from material possessions and learn to live with less, then that for me was a great starting point onto, saving money or using my finances for things that I really wanted to do that were so meaningful and so fulfilling. Last year, we went to Madagascar, and it's, I think, the fourth most impoverished country in the entire world. And what I learned from that trip more than anything was that we take so much for granted in North America, like so much. I just had a conversation this morning with my son, my middle child, the pilot, who was here for a wedding. And as he was packing up to go to the cottage for the weekend, I don't even know how we got on the topic, but he said, yeah, I have a pretty good life. And I said to him, you have a pretty good life? He's like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I said, well, what's lacking that would make it a great life? And he's like, that's a good question. And then I said, because when I went to Madagascar last year, there was a lot that we would consider in North America that they were lacking, like the fridge full of food that I pointed out to him, to my son. And they wouldn't say they have a pretty good life. They were actually so happy. The kids were so happy. They didn't even have shoes, you guys. They had no shoes. And they're so happy making toys out of junkyard stuff. They had water bottles and put, I don't know, like wheels or something on them and made cars out of them. Their clothes were tattered and torn and they didn't care. We at one point went to a what do you call that? Oh my God, what do you call that? So when somebody dies, they bring out the body, it's mummified, every 7 years and celebrate the life of that person. What is that called? Exhumation party? Oh God, I can't remember. Anyway, it's a thing they do in Madagascar. Look it up. And so we were invited into their village as they were having this party for this deceased person. I know it's weird, but hey, I'm learning about culture. I'm not going to judge. And they were so welcoming, and they have nothing, you guys. They live in huts, like they have nothing. And they were so welcoming, wanting us to eat their food and drink their rum. That was the thing, that everybody had to drink rum at that outdoor party in the village, and it's the entire community comes together. And so that's my point. We have become so accustomed to have so many things, and we take it so for granted, because you can live very easily on less money and less things. And going back to why I started this video at the very beginning, when I said I think that sometimes God works in mysterious ways, or divine intervention takes in, is because I did that short about how I am able to travel because I've learned to shop less. And then somebody just responded to that and said, can you please do a video on this? I live on a very modest salary, and I have a second job, and it's my second job that allows me to go out and do my adventures. And so I thought, okay, great idea. Then that's the video I'm doing today, on a day that I thought I don't really know what to talk about today, and I'm just sort of not feeling it. And you know, how do I inspire somebody today? And then here we are. This is it, from just one little comment after me thinking, I don't know what I want to talk about today. And so somebody's saying to me, talk about that, because it is possible. And if we actually learn to sacrifice and to maybe compromise, we can really live a more joyful life, a more meaningful life, doing things that are more meaningful, rather than being limited in our finances because we're just acquiring things. We're such a society, especially in North America, where we're such consumers of stuff, and it's pushed in our faces almost daily that we need this. You know, we need to be driving that fancy car, because then we're going to garner more respect, and you're going to be just, you know, just a level higher than everybody else. And you need to wear that name brand dress, or you need to have those name brand shoes, because, well, you know, that's what everybody is aspiring to, having the Gucci or the Prada or the Hermes or the whatever. And we get so bombarded by this message, and especially young people, that we tend to sort of follow the crowd. And, you know, kids want the Air Jordans, and kids want what everybody else is wearing. And it's really kind of sad, because when you do go to a third world country, nobody's comparing themselves to others and what others have. It really is, it doesn't have to be a third world country. Like when I go to Portugal, I feel like, especially in the villages, more so in the villages, I have that wrap because I hurt myself. Anyway, it's a real community feeling. People really help each other. People are there to build each other up. People are there, they gather together. To the village that I'm from, I remember often at my grandparents' house, other villagers coming and helping them sow their crops, and go out and get, I don't know how you say it in English, ao feno. Como se diz isso? Quando iam ao feno. The hay, grain. I don't know how to say it in English, but they would go and harvest the hay or whatever. And yeah, it took a village. Nobody was better than anybody else. Everybody sort of just helped each other out. And there was no comparison. There was no trying to keep up with the Joneses. And that is how I've been able to do it. 8 years ago, after getting a divorce and leaving all the luxury stuff behind and having to find a job and support myself, I had a real awakening around that time as well. It wasn't just by necessity that I needed to really cut down on my spending and really figure out how I was going to stand on my own 2 feet, but it was also really just me having done the work and leaving behind all of the stuff to jump into a life of complete uncertainty, but a life that I felt so much peace, and a life that I felt so much freedom, and a life that I felt purposeful and fulfilled. And that also meant that I no longer needed the things that used to fill me up, temporarily fill me up. Because I think when you're addicted to shopping and addicted to always looking perfect, which we have to be careful about that attachment too. If we're constantly attaching ourselves to our physical outwardly appearance, attaching ourselves to how others perceive us, or trying to impress others, or trying to hold on to youth or beauty, because that is a fast moving train that you cannot get off of. We are aging. There's no doubt about it. Our skin is sagging. Gravity's taking in. Age spots are appearing. We're going to get wrinkles. And so we have to let go of that attachment as well. If we attach ourselves to our physicality, not what's inside, we're going to be and feel eventually very disconnected from ourselves, because we're not going to know who we are anymore. Because it's so different, vastly different. Our bodies are going to change drastically. And so be careful that you don't attach yourself to the outward appearance. I mean, of course, everybody wants to look good, and I want to look good, and I want to eat healthy, and I want to live a healthy lifestyle. But I try not to get so consumed by my outwardly appearance. I can go outside without makeup on. I can go get my groceries and just throw my hair in a bun without feeling the need to always look so perfect and always be so perfect and always having my house so perfect. That's something that I came into as I was evolving, growing, awakening. Maybe it also comes with age, because I feel like as you get older, it's so liberating. We just sort of come into ourselves, and we can't become so comfortable living in our own skin. And I think that back 8 years ago after my divorce, it was such an awakening for me that I don't feel the need anymore to have things, to buy things, to impress people that I don't really like. Now, I still have my Mercedes. It's the last thing I have, but that car is 12 years old. I'm just going to hang on to it until it dies, and then I have no desire to buy another Mercedes or BMW or Porsche. All the cars I used to have in my previous life, I don't care. I do not care. I want to be with friends. I want to be with family. I want to travel. I want to collect memories and experiences, and I want to learn about different cultures, like Madagascar, and that whole exhumation party. Was something I'd never heard of before in my life. And those people were so kind and so warm and so welcoming and so happy that you come away with a completely different perspective. And that's what I want to do. I want to learn. I want to keep growing. I want to fill my life with happy, joyful occasions and memories. And that's where I spend my money. So, yeah. So that's that. So here we go. I talked for almost 19 minutes on something that one of you, my followers, which by the way, I love you all so much. You guys are so kind and so sweet. Well, not all, but the most part. I have some people that tell me that I should make more of an effort or get a nose job. I've got that comment before when I'm making my videos, because this sometimes is just not, like, I'm not at my best. Can you believe that? I actually had that comment from a woman telling me that as a single person, I should make more of an effort with this situation. Okay. But anyway, so here we are, talked for 19 minutes about something that one of you left a comment on. So I hope that was helpful. There's so many ways that you can cut back, you guys. Cable TV, don't have it. Subscriptions to magazines, don't have it. Shopping at Whole Foods, don't do it anymore. Just so many things that we don't need, that we can cut back on, that we can sacrifice and compromise, and live very happily on a modest salary. So just think about that, because we all have the choice. We all have those choices to make. And I choose now to be intentional about how I live financially. Yeah, and I choose to live my life not being consumed with consumerism. That's it. It is a beautiful day here today. I'm going for dinner later tonight with some friends. Believe it or not, it's still my birthday dinner. My birthday was June 25th. Here we are, July 7th today. And I still have a couple of friends that I haven't seen yet, and they wanted to go out for some drinks. So I'm going to do that later today. It is just gorgeous. I am just going to enjoy the day. I'm going to relax. I'm probably going to power wash my house, actually, and then get ready for dinner tonight. So I hope that helps you guys with really giving you food for thought. We all have choices. Do you want the stuff? Do you want the things that are going to go away anyway, eventually? Everything's temporary. Or do you want the experiences and the memories? What do you want more? Chat soon. Bye.